Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Florida Panthers. Yes, we have some good news here going into the Stanley Cup playoffs. The first team to be in. They have clinched their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think the best part of this is their hashtag this year. Hashtag time to hunt. I think that's great, but that is their tag, and now they're going to be hunting for a Stanley Cup as they are the first team in the NHL to clinch a playoff spot this season. So the Florida Panthers right now are projected to be one of the teams in the President's Trophy race. They're only 2 points, as of today, at the recording of this video, they are 2 points behind the Colorado Avalanche right now as first in the Atlantic Division, first in the Eastern Conference, and second in the NHL standings. Like I said, 2 points away from potentially winning the President's Trophy for most points in the NHL. They've got some games left to go here. They have 23 games left on tap the rest of the way, and I think the most inspiring thing was their game on Saturday. They played the New Jersey Devils, and they were down, 5-1 in that game? 5-1, 6-1, something like that. And they came all the way back to win that game 7-6 in overtime or a shootout. That's the kind of stuff you want to see from this group. I think that's very inspiring for the Florida Panthers as a learning lesson. They actually won the game too. This is a really good Florida Panthers team, and I think people are starting to notice, like, damn, the Panthers are good this year. And you look at their record, they're about to hit 50 wins. They will hit 50 wins. They might even hit 60 wins when it's all said and done. They have 48 wins this season, 15 losses, and 6 overtime and shootout losses. They have the best plus-minus in the NHL. Their goal differential, a plus 83, which the very highly thought of Colorado Avalanche, they are a plus 10 goal differential better than the Colorado Avalanche. That just shows you where the Panthers are at right now. They've been incredibly good this year. So, what went right for this team, for the Panthers? Well, a big question going into the season for the Panthers was goaltending. What were we going to see from Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky? Bobrovsky just came off one of his worst seasons in the NHL last year. They were riding off a goaltender, Chris Driedger, who kind of came out of nowhere. Chris Driedger was their guy. He gets sent in the expansion draft to Seattle. Spencer Knight, in his first full season in the NHL, struggled like a lot of people predicted. A lot of the Panthers haters out there were very adamant that Spencer Knight hasn't played a full season in the NHL. What is he going to be like in the grind of a regular season? And I said that in the beginning of the year. And that has been an issue. Spencer Knight has not been there this season. But everybody was forgetting the fact that Sergei Bobrovsky could potentially turn his season around from where he was a year ago. And that's exactly what he did. Sergei Bobrovsky has been a star. Really, he has been a star down there in Florida this year. I'm still a little bit upset by that because he was supposed to be my Islander. Him and Panarin were supposed to come to the Islanders, but whatever. I guess that's just sour grapes. But that's what you're kind of looking at with Bobrovsky. He has come back to form, and everybody thought because he got his big meal ticket from the Panthers, he would just kind of pack it in, especially after last season. That is not the case. Sergei Bobrovsky is back, baby, and he has been incredible for the Cats. Not to mention the Panthers' top guys have been good. I mean, they've been really good. Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, all those guys have been incredible for this team this year. Not to mention Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart and Sam Bennett, both those guys, both Sams, have also been great contributions to this team. Bennett at the deadline last year, Reinhart in the offseason, a trade that the Panthers made with the Sabres. And then their blue line. I mean, their blue line looks really solid as well. Weegar and Ekblad have been one of the best pairings in the NHL. And everybody else has kind of just fallen into place there. Ben Sherratt's come in, been a nice addition to that blue line. A big guy, a big presence. There's really not much to say in terms of flaws. I mean, this team is so good, they had to trade Owen Tippett to the Philadelphia Flyers because there really was no spots in the top 6 for him. That's how stacked this Panthers team was. And that's kind of what you're seeing right now. It's just a really, really good hockey team. And we'll see how kind of things go, because I think right now where the Panthers sit, there is some concern that maybe that game against the Devils, like there's some just brain farts during the season that, are they going to correct those once playoffs come around? Because you're not going to be able to correct a 6-1 game in a playoff environment. Likely against a team like Tampa or Toronto, it's going to be extremely difficult. Or even Boston or Washington, for that matter. Like, the Florida Panthers are going to have to be on their A game because, that's kind of the loser's mentality going into this playoffs is, how is this going to work? You have to go through a gauntlet, especially in the East, but specifically in the Atlantic. As the Florida Panthers, in the first 2 rounds, you will likely have to play one of either Toronto, Tampa, Boston, or Washington. You pick your poison. Do any of those sound at all appealing? No. So this is kind of what you're looking at. It's going to be extremely difficult. And by the time you go through by the time you get through the Atlantic side of things, then you go to the conference finals, and who's going to be on the other side? Carolina, Pittsburgh, the Rangers. Like, do you want to deal with any of those? And then God knows who they play in the Stanley Cup final, if they get that far. So it's one of those things. That's the loser's mentality to it, but this is extremely something you have to point out is because the Panthers are good this year, come playoff time, you just hope they don't get humbled in the first round, and I don't think they will. I think any of the teams in the Atlantic that can compete with Tampa come playoff time, I truthfully think that is the Florida Panthers, and we've seen that last year. They took the Panthers to 7 games. I still think the Islanders were the toughest test for the Lightning last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but maybe that's my bias aside. But the Panthers were definitely second on that list, even more so than the team they played in the Stanley Cup final, which was Montreal, right? They took them out in 5 games. Probably could have swept them if they wanted to win the Cup in Montreal, right? So, I don't know. It's one of those things. You look at the Panthers, there's a lot of promise here, and I think they're gearing up for what just seems like a good run. And where the Panthers have been, I mean, this is another fun fact. I put it in throughout the video here. This is the first time in franchise history that they have made the playoffs 3 consecutive seasons, which is just incredible. And the Panthers, a lot of talk about them maybe moving, being a team that goes out in terms of a relocation for an expansion team. But right now, the success that they have done, they're getting butts in the seats, they're getting people going to the games, and there's excitement around this team. And I think like I said, I think they're in for a good run this year. Maybe they don't win the Cup, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I think they're in store to give themselves the best shot possible. And I think getting guys like Giroux, getting guys like Sherrod at the deadline definitely helped them in that case. Guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.